Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Freeology Friday. I'm Derrick Day, and she is.
Maya Mullen Day.
And guess what, baby? We are not live. There's something wrong. It's broadcasting somewhere else. Not sure where because I'm not seeing it on my live stream. Oh, there it is. There it is. We're here.
Okay.
All
Well,
right.
make sure you send it to me
All
so
right.
that I can forward it on my page.
Okay. So I'm sharing it. Well, let me do this. Share it in Messenger or
Nope, that's all right. I'm just going to do it anyway. Hopefully, hey, it is what
just
it
come to
is.
my page and just click share.
Yep, that's all I'm doing.
All right. All right. All right. Technical difficulties, folks. I'm having an ID 10T moment. In case y'all don't know what that is, write it out and it'll tell you. Now, where'd baby go?
I'm here.
You're black on the screen.
It
You
shouldn't
turned
be.
off
I can see me.
you turned off your camera.
I did not turn off my camera. I can see me.
Oh, now I see you. There you go. You were blacker than black for a minute.
Okay.
All right. So here we go. So what are we talking about today, baby? What is the topic for tonight?
So we had a tentative topic after you asked me to sit in Aaron's absence. Have an absolute fabulous time, Aaron. But then I opened it up to our friends to say, do you have a topic that you would like to hear addressed? And the overwhelming messages that I received back were about relationships. So we decided to hit on multiple facets of relationships. We are not relationship gurus,
Nope.
but we have lived a life. So,
That part.
we welcome everybody to join in, comment, give your 2 cents, and hopefully it'll be enlightening.
And first of all, I want to say thank you for joining me tonight. You're a far cry better looking than either Aaron or me. So you're easy on the eyes, and you have a very sweet voice and such wonderful intellect. I tell everybody all the time, you're the smartest person I know.
That's what you say.
That's what I say. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. So, and normally this is the point where we do what's in the glass and you know red wine. I found the rest of it, white wine.
No, I have flavored water.
Oh, okay, got you. Cheers, baby.
A little water with some lemon juice in it.
Mm. Yeah, that whole Kojic thing. We got to be on our sensibilities.
Yes.
Our sensibilities. So when we talk about relationships, right? So I said like get your shit together. That was part of the topic of relations and ships in 2025. And so let's talk about the relation first. So when we talk about relationships, what does relation mean in relationship? Let's start with that.
So, as far as, I mean, the relation is just a connection to someone, you know,
Mhm.
um, your boyfriend, your girlfriend, your jump off, your sneaky link, your husband, however you are connected to someone else.
Right. And the ship part is how it moves along.
Correct.
That's the container or how it gets moved from one place to another, right?
Right.
So one of the things that I think that people have difficulty in relating to each other because of lack of communication. I think that's the number one thing why relationships break down. If you're not communicating, you're not articulating what your desires are, what your peeves are, those kind of things. If you're not discussing that, how can you kind of build anything? Because you can't build anything in a vacuum, right?
Correct.
So when we talk about relationships, so let's talk about relationships. Let's get to the meat of what. Are you moving out into the rain?
I am. It's not raining anymore.
Okay. All right, because I didn't want your sweet self to melt.
I know, but I could hear you, so
Okay.
I
All
moved.
right. Okay. So when we talk about, let's get to the meat of the matter, and most of the people that we're talking about relationships, they want to know about intimate relationships, relationships with a spouse, with a girlfriend, with a jump off, with a boo thing, right? That's the number one thing that people want to know about, right?
Okay,
So, one of the things that we had a list of topics or subtopics. I'm going to go through the subtopics if that's okay.
that's fine.
All right. So, number one thing, what happens when a spouse validates others ahead of the spouse? In other words, when you put someone else ahead of your spouse. Now, I want to say this. I'm gonna put my 2 cents in here before we get down the road, just so we don't get anything twisted here. Is that you are number one? You are priority number one for me, right?
I hear you.
Yeah. So that's my thing. I'm not putting anyone before you. I'm not validating anyone at your expense. I'm not doing any of that. You are number one, priority A1, right?
Okay.
All right. So
Okay.
what about that? When somebody is validating someone over someone else.
So, external validation of a friend or a close confidant, I don't see a problem with. I think the problem comes in if you are validating someone else, but you are not pouring into your own relationship.
Yep.
And so, it's okay to validate. We all have friends.
Yep.
We all had lives. We all existed before these relationships. And it is okay to be, someone else's, congratulations, cheering them on. That's excellent. Way to go. I don't see a problem with that. But the problem comes in when you are doing so to the detriment of your primary relationship, right?
Right.
So if, for example, it was you and I, and you are constantly validating someone else's experiences, but you are never pouring into me, we got a problem.
Right.
Why are we together? Go
Yeah.
be with that person. What are we doing?
Yeah. Or let's say I'm edifying someone else. Like when because here's my thing. What do I always tell you? What do I always tell you?
I don't know. You tell me a lot, Derek.
I,
Tell me
you're,
a lot.
you're the prettiest thing I've ever seen.
Yeah, I'm just the GND.
Whatever.
But
But
thank you,
but anyway, this is what I
baby.
right now. If I were to tell some other woman that she was the prettiest thing I'd ever seen, that would be a validation of someone else at your expense,
Correct.
because that will be out of bounds, because
Correct.
now I'm hyping up somebody else when I should be giving that attention and affection to you.
Right. But
Right.
it's okay to say, listen, we are all human. I'm still a woman and you're still a man.
Hmm.
You will see beautiful women just like I will see very handsome men.
Yep.
It is okay to say, in my opinion, it's okay to say, you doing the damn thing. Okay.
Yeah.
I, I see you. But the problem again, like I said, comes in one, if it's excessive. Two, if you are doing so without the knowledge of your significant other.
That part. Yeah.
So,
So
like, I could come in and I might tell you, baby, I was in court and one of the attorneys had on this cologne that was absolutely fire.
yeah.
I told him he smelled good
Yeah.
because I'm still a woman. I can still recognize a nice gentleman
Right.
because I'm not dead, but I'm also not going to discredit or usurp what we have.
Right.
So it's a fine line. I
Yeah.
mean, some people are just like you're just supposed to turn off your humanity.
You can't do
And
that.
you can't.
You can't do that.
Can't.
Not and be human.
You can't. You will, even if you are in a 20, 30, 40-year relationship, or you have been with this person forever and a day, when you go out, you can still recognize if someone, and I'm not saying act on it, but you can still recognize if someone is attractive. You can still recognize if somebody smells good, if somebody looks good. I mean, and I'm not telling you to act on it, but it's just a commentary. Damn, that suit is fire.
Yeah.
Okay, baby, maybe we need to go ahead and let's go on a shopping trip. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
give kudos where kudos are due. You
Yep.
know?
Yeah. And again, I'm cool with that as long as it doesn't happen at the expense of someone else, right?
Correct.
Because it's like if you say, oh, damn guy, you smell nice, and he say, yeah, thank you for that. Let's hook up sometime.
No,
And
this
then
is a compliment.
right. But I'm saying that's where it goes off the rails, right?
Right. And so some people will say that you shouldn't even comment on
You can't do that.
you can't do it because others don't understand how to take it. But if you are an adult, I don't see anything wrong with saying, you know, you look nice today. Like, that's a nice dress, a nice suit,
There's nothing wrong with complimenting someone.
Correct.
Right.
And it's just noticing somebody else's effort
Right.
into their appearance.
Yep.
Okay,
Yep.
wonderful.
All right, so let's go to the next one, and this is like what happens if you prioritize someone over your spouse. In other words, because here this is a real big one because like with you and I, we have robust social relationships,
We
right?
do.
And so you have your friends and your organizations and you do stuff. I have my friends, my organizations, and I do stuff, right?
Right.
And the thing is that we do things, but and this is what I can share publicly about you and I is that neither one of us puts all of that ahead of the other, ahead of one another. That we are the head of that thing, right?
Hmm.
So, but what happens? Like you have like cats that their wife will say, "Hey, I want you to go shopping with me on Saturday," and say, "Oh, I'm going golfing with the boys. I'm going fishing with the boys," right? And there's nothing wrong with going fishing, but if your wife says, "Hey, I had something that I wanted us to do," and now you're breaking off and going to do something else, I think that's prioritizing others ahead of the spouse.
Correct. Okay, so here's the deal. To be whole, and I'm telling everybody this. I do not. The sun does. How do I say this? You have to be multifaceted
Yep.
in all arenas. You have to be multifaceted. We have children. We have careers. We have friends.
Hmm.
We have social networks. You have to be multifaceted, right? But when you commit to being in a monogamous, on point relationship with one other person,
Hmm.
you have to take their feelings into consideration and also make them a priority, right?
Yep.
So, this is not to say that you should not have your girls' trips. I've taken girls' trips. You have been out with the boys plenty
Hmm.
of times.
Yep.
Um, but if there is something that is pressing that your person wants you to do, then it becomes let's communicate. And it is really a balancing, although your significant other is always going to pull rank,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
So, and I say that with an asterisk. Take the asterisk, okay? The asterisk is some people are in relationships where they are the extreme extrovert and their partner is an introvert.
Right.
And anytime the extrovert tries to cultivate anything outside of the relationship, it's triggering
Mhm.
for the other person, right? But
Right.
it's not triggering because it's bad. It's triggering because that other person just wants their universe to be just those two people.
Right.
Right? So first you have to know who you in a relationship with, right?
Yeah.
Because if the other person has an issue with you doing anything, that's a problem.
Right.
Especially if you are a social extrovert person.
Right.
I always say with you and I, it's so interesting because you are just as much a social butterfly as I am. But in past relationships that we were in, that was not the case.
Correct.
Like our other back way back when
Yeah.
were not that. And so, from us having a dialogue, it created issues.
Yeah.
Whenever go out or do anything or cultivate something else, it was an issue because the person that we were with at the time did not understand that you were just cultivating different aspects of who you are, you
Right.
know?
Yeah.
And so do I think that you should put social pursuits over your significant other? No, I don't think that. But
No.
I think to be a well rounded person, everybody needs outlets. Like, everybody knows this. I have 5 children. I love my children to death. As a matter of fact, on my page, there is a picture of me crying because my number 3 just graduated.
Yeah.
I would lay down my life for my children, right?
Yeah.
But I'm not just a mother, right? That's not just who I am. Everybody knows what I do for a living. I'm
Mhm.
not just an attorney. That's not just who I am. You know, I don't prescribe to self-identification of pouring into only one asset or one arena,
Mhm.
because what happens when that arena is gone?
Right.
What happens when those kids grow up?
Yep.
What happens if you don't have that job anymore?
Correct.
So if you don't cultivate the complete you're gonna have a very hard time when what you have poured into to the detriment of everything else is no longer there.
Yeah. You need to say that again for the people in the back. Because that's the thing. It's like, I would never ask you to sacrifice what you've built, the relationship collateral. That's like brand equity in your life, right? And
Right.
and to ask someone to sacrifice that, that's an unreasonable ask, right? So my thing is that, and this is what I've seen in the time that we've been together. You have your time with your girls, you have your time with your organizations and things like that, but you have never once subordinated me to any of those things. I'm just saying. I'm just putting it out there.
As a
And
matter of fact, a lot of my social endeavors, I have invited you to
correct.
because I wanted there to be some overlap. I
Yep.
wanted there to be some integration.
Yep.
And maybe that's it. If there's an issue with subordination, okay, I'm not saying, and listen, I know some couples that are so joined at the hip that it is just like, I don't even understand it. Um, but that works for them. It has never worked for me.
No.
Um, those who know me from way back in the day, that know my parents, Robert and Tommy Lee. I am the daughter of Robert and Tommy Lee. And when I say that, I mean, we were not an overly emotional house,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
I've told you this. We were not I absolutely knew 100%. I know without a shadow of a doubt. I know with every fiber of my being that my parents, my family loves me. We're not a super sappy family.
Right.
That's just not how we roll, right?
Yeah.
Um, some people are.
My crew.
Yeah, you might. Yeah, but you have to have something. You have to have something for yourself,
Hmm.
right? You should never place menial things over the feelings of your significant other, right?
Yep.
So if, and I say this because if baby is having a breakdown or if he just wants some time, right?
Hmm.
And it's not major what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna be like, okay, that's fine. You know, I can change plans, right? But like if I had something planned and I tell you this, for example, a lot of people know that I am a member of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated. I'm also an Eastern Star. I am a pass-worthy matron. I'm a founding matron of my OES chapter. There was a time where a lot of things go on, and they still do go on. I know when they're going to hit in advance.
Hmm.
If I tell you in advance, okay, I have A, B, and C, right? This is what's coming up. A, B, and C,
And you do.
right?
Yep.
It's not sprung on you. Okay, I've told you in advance. We have time to address it.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm letting you know. I am being thoughtful of your sentiments
Yep.
and your time, and giving you time to voice any issues or if something else is coming up. You know,
Yep.
and we talk about it. We go from there. You know, so healthy is a dialogue and a back and forth. Healthy is I have some things to do, you have some things to do. But like if I told you, okay, baby, we have prime example, Margarita Ball. Go to
Hmm.
Margarita Ball, right?
Yep.
I'll say, babe, I got us tickets to Margarita Ball or invites to Margarita Ball. You know this months in advance, right?
Yep.
If you told me the day of or the day before or even a week before, I'm not going to Margarita Ball because, you know, I'm gonna go hang out with my boys, we're gonna have a problem.
Right. Right. Because that's something that we planned out months in advance.
Correct. We're gonna have an issue.
Yep.
And that's like a major event. But if even let's take it down a scale, baby, I haven't been out. I want to get pretty. I want to go out. Let's go out to dinner. Even if it's just, you know, just having a meal at the Applebee's.
Hmm.
You know,
Yeah.
just to get out the house. If
Yeah.
I tell you that and I've
Then,
communicated
then
to
we
you,
do that.
yeah, we do. But if I've communicated that to you, that this is like I have a slam week. I just want to get out on the weekend. I want to go dance or I want to go have a meal. If I tell you that and then at the 11th hour, you're like, oh well, you know, so and so called me and I'm about to go listen to some live music with my boys.
No.
We got a problem.
No. But see, that goes back to step one, right? That's an inside joke, y'all, about step one. But step one, communication,
Yes.
not the other step one.
Yeah. Step
But,
3. Profit.
maybe,
Game.
maybe step two is communication. I don't know.
Right. Could be.
Could be. Uh, but let's move this on because there was another one, and this one is a huge one. Is putting children over your spouse. Now, I want to say this for all the guys out there, right? For all the guys, like I love my kids. I have 5 boys. I have 2 bonus girls. I love my kids. I absolutely love my kids, and I will do anything that I can for them. I will be there for them. I will do for them all of that. But when I stood up at the altar and said, I do to you, I said, you come first. Now, there's a flip side to that. And this, because we just talked about this a couple of days ago.
Yep.
You have 5 kids. The difference between you and I is that you birthed all 5 of these kids. You carried all of them inside you. You've been intimately involved in it. It's like for me to say, okay, I need to be ahead of your kids. is a totally unreasonable lift, is a totally unreasonable ask, because the motherhood thing, I think, trumps the fatherhood thing. Now, there are some guys out here that undoubtedly will disagree with me on that. But I'm here to say, guys, motherhood is a whole different ball game. And so when the mama bear needs to be, involved in her kids, or needs to do something with the kids, Papa Bear, you need to kind of dial it back a little bit and understand that there's a dynamic with mama and the kids that don't exist with you and the kids. So the thing is that now watch this. The kids come first in terms of basic needs, but it's like, for example, if you say, "Baby, let's go, let's dial up and go dancing," right? Then we're gonna say, "Okay, hey kids, unless y'all got some major event going on, you know, here's your DoorDash, here's the food in the fridge, but me and Daddy, we going out to do some stuff now." So that's my take on the whole, kids versus significant other thing.
Okay, so here's my unpopular, it may be unpopular opinion. Um, my unpopular opinion is that, let me do it. Let me take a step back before I get there. So there are a lot of um, people who follow religious covenants, ideology, ideology, idolatries,
Ideology.
ideologies.
There
Thank
you
you.
go.
Wherein it's okay um, when you. Sorry, my dogs are coming out. When you get with your husband or wife, that person trumps even your children, right? Now I'm good. He's showing me wine, y'all. Um, this is the unpopular opinion. That may be the unpopular opinion. Don't let your children necessarily tank the relationships that you're in, right?
Mhm.
But also do not go into a new relationship to the detriment of your children, right? So I say that because when Derek and I reconnected, of course, I am a mom of five babies that I have birthed.
Yep.
4 of them without any pain medications, because I'm that woman, right? But he knew I was a package deal, right? Um, I live and breathe for my children. I love my babies. I would lay down my life for my babies. Derek and I had this conversation just yesterday or the day before yesterday, where for me, for me, I could not let any person trump the needs of my children. Needs. Notice I say needs. The needs of my children, because I will always be their mother. They did not ask to be here. I love my children indefinitely. For me, the best that I can do, the best, again, this is me, the best that I can do is put you on par and on level with my children, right?
Mhm.
If you are on par and on level with my children, you have to understand that I live and breathe for my babies.
Mhm.
I live and breathe for you, right?
Yeah.
But if we were on a cliff and everybody was hanging off
Mhm.
and they said you can save your children or your man,
I'd die. I already know.
and it may be that we both go down and I let the babies live, but I cannot subjugate my role as a mother to a relationship that I chose when these children did not choose to be here.
Right.
Right now, I say that with the caveat that I have fake adults. Fake adults is, them young babies, this grown, this over the age of 18, but they really not grown because they just like, I don't like adulting. and I love them to death. And I still have a child in, you know, high school. So Derrick knew going in, I'm a package deal. I don't do stepchildren at all. Your children are my children. I have tried to completely embrace your babies.
You have.
Um, I have tried to completely embrace your children,
Yep.
truthfully. It is difficult when you go into a relationship and children are already there and they're not biologically yours. Because what happens is, one, especially if these children were in the household with their other parent in you, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
When that breaks apart, these children go through this grieving process. It's almost like a death. And a lot of times do not know how to fully articulate their emotions and want to place blame instead of looking at their parents as humans, right?
Mm-hmm.
We're still humans. I'm your
Yep.
mama, that's your daddy. We're
But we're
still
human.
humans.
Right.
And so the relationship that may not have worked out between mama and daddy is no slight to the children.
Right.
And the hardest thing is kids that pick up the cross of a parent that they feel slighted
Mm-hmm.
when they don't understand at core, one, everybody deserves to be happy.
Yep.
And two, those relationships sometimes don't last. But what's forever is the parent child relationship.
Correct.
That is forever. Um, I will always be the mother of 5 children.
Yep.
They don't get any other mother,
Yep.
ever. Um, and so saying that, you'll always be the father of your children. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying?
Yep.
They don't get any other father.
Nope.
Now, you might get step parents, bonus parents, whatever. I get it. I understand it. But the biological connection can never be broken.
No.
And so, because the biological connection can never be broken, I can never place the pursuit of a relationship over the needs of my children.
Yep.
And I again want to say needs,
Needs.
not necessarily wants, but needs. You understand?
I'm with you.
So, and that's why I say it might be an unpopular opinion because some people are just like, no, when you get married, it's just supposed to be you and that person against the world to the detriment of your children. And
No.
that it
No.
might work for other people. That will never work for me.
Here's the thing that, again, you have to, the objective is to try to build a lifelong relationship with your kids, right?
Right.
And it's different for mothers than it is for fathers, because for a mother it's innate. There's a biological, I mean, there's a biological connection for fathers too, but for mothers is different. You actually have them inside you. It's a whole different thing. So I understand that. And I that is one thing, like in our relationship, that I've made a commitment to be understanding of.
What I say is this. I mean, my oldest child just got married in October.
Mhm.
I know, y'all. Zach got married. She is beautiful. I absolutely love my bonus daughter. I call her my bonus daughter. I call her my daughter in love.
Mhm.
I try to pour into her. I try to be the mother-in-law that I currently have now. Let me say that.
Yep.
I do not want to be the mother-in-law from hell, right?
And you're not.
The hardest thing was letting go of that child to allow for his marriage to trump my relationship with him.
Yeah.
That's hard.
Now, see
For a mother, that's hard.
but that's a whole different thing, because that biblically, that a husband is supposed to cleave to his wife even above his mother and father, right? And that's a hard one, but it's like, but it doesn't have that same stipulation for children. You know what I'm saying, from a biblical standpoint.
Right. But, so placing somebody's children over your own, over your relationship, that's difficult in a blended family. It's a difficult proposition because you have to find the balance. You know what I'm saying? You can't go in and always say my child, my child, my child, my child, and
No.
it's to the detriment of your relationship when you're the adult. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If there was grief or strife or stress, let's say those kids don't like you,
Yeah.
right? Let's say
Yep.
they just really not feeling you, and they just not feeling you, not because they know you, but they not feeling you
Because they
because
believe the narrative about you.
they believe a narrative about you, or they are grieving the fact that their parent is no longer with their other parent, and they're placing blame for you on you, and you are the impediment to their two parents being together for
Yeah.
whatever reason. Now, mind you, y'all know I do family law, so I see a lot of this, right? When you are navigating a blended family, it is imperative to sit down with your significant other to say, listen, okay, I understand these are your babies. I can only be absorbed and integrated into their life as much as they
As
will
you want it.
allow me to.
Correct.
You cannot force yourself into their lives and expect, like, just add water and there you go, poof, voila, magic. You're not going to get
Mhm.
that.
Right.
Likewise, if you are the parent that is raising children and you have integrated somebody else into their life now, you've moved on,
Mm-hmm.
you cannot expect that new person to assume the role of their biological parent
No. No.
and take on all of the responsibilities of their biological parent and hold them accountable for that. If you are in a healthy relationship, I will love your children just like I love you
Mm-hmm.
because they're an extension of you,
Right.
and you will get to know those children. It's a little toxic and a little dysfunctional when it is just like I'm just going to throw this new person in and expect this person to step in the role completely
Right.
of the biological parent and then try to hold them accountable for perceived flaws because they don't do things like mama did or daddy did, or the kids are giving pushback. At the end of the day, children are children.
Yeah.
They do not have the brain width to process like adults do. The
Yeah.
frontal cortex of boys isn't even complete until around 23,
Yeah.
24.
23, 24. Yeah.
So,
So let
you
me
know,
let me chime in here because like when I'm married into a blended family, right? But prior to you, right? And so two of the kids in my life were not biologically mine, but I assumed that responsibility. I took the role of the biological dad. And here's the thing, that's not everybody's testimony. Not
correct.
everybody's going to do that. And at the same time, but to fast forward to where we are today with you and I, it's like uh, I'm not asking you to be mom to my kids. I never,
Correct.
that was never my in my ask. The only thing that I would say is that, hey, like, you've been more than civil to my kids. I'm just putting it out there. You've been more than good to them. And I'm hoping that time heals all wounds, and that at some point that they'll recognize the goodness of you and go on. But that we're not going deep into that right now.
Right.
But what I do want to do is I want to change gears at this point because
Okay.
I want to get to the messy part of this discussion.
Okay.
All right, so we're about to get messy, y'all, because I know some of y'all like messy.
And just for the record, yeah, I had a long day. I'm smoking a black. I probably shouldn't, but Derek is drinking, and I'm not drinking. I'm just smoking a black.
Yeah, okay, okay. I am drinking. So here's the deal, right? What happens, or how should you deal with it when your spouse is flirting with someone else and you find out about it? I mean, how do you? Because I'm going to tell you something. Like, I'm a very low key kind of person. I mean, I'm very emotional, but it's like if I found out that my wife was flirting with somebody online, I'd be like, nigga, what? I mean, we would have a moment, right? Because I'm like, why? What's going on here? But I'm going to say this for the record that I'm glad that we don't have that problem, But there are people that do. There are people that do. They have this problem, like where the husband is flirting or the wife is flirting. You're giving your affection, and see, again, this goes back to like when you're prioritizing others above your spouse, because when you're flirting with someone, you're saying that this person, at least in this particular situation or circumstance, has superiority over your spouse. And so what happens when what do you do when you encounter that? I mean, if you encounter that, how do you what's the appropriate way of dealing with that? What's the appropriate escalation for that? And honestly, I don't know the answer because frankly, I don't have that problem. But
So,
I know that there are people who do, and this is a messy, nasty, ugly topic, and it happens to people. So Quincy says, "What is flirting?" Okay, so Quincy, just to answer your question, right? If you saying a girl is sexy, or shoot me some pics, or I'd like to do some stuff with you, that's when it goes over the top. What we said earlier, if you see a pretty, like, again, we said May and I, we are human. She knows a handsome man when she sees one. I know a beautiful woman when I see one. And if I say, "Hey, sister girl, you look nice today. That's a nice dress, or that's a nice perfume, a nice fragrance you're wearing." If I say that and I let it go at that, because if she comes back and she say, "Oh, hey, thank you for that. It's the first time a man has said this to me, and I like the attention or whatever. Let me give you my number." Then I'm gonna be like, "Oh no, baby girl, you know, uh, I can't do that
my
because
wife is crazy.
I'm getting to that. I was getting to that. I was like, number one, I'm not that kind of guy, and number two, my wife is batshit crazy and she'll fucking kill you." So, that's the thing. But Quincy, that's the definition of flirting. When you go over the top, it's nothing wrong with saying, "Hey, you look nice today." There's nothing wrong with that. But it's like if that conversation goes further, and here's the thing about online relationships is that you can actually go into deep uh, deep conversations without really going deep. In other words, like you're not there, so you're not going to actually hook up or anything like that. But you can have these conversations like, damn, I really like to hook up with you, or what's going on in your world? Hey, why is your man treating you good? And you start asking questions like that. That's flirting.
Yeah.
That's flirting, and that's
Okay.
going over the top.
So here's my unmessy. Let me unmessy for it. Unmessy for people. First and foremost, there has to be communication.
Yeah.
And I say there has to be communication. I'm outside, y'all, and these mosquitoes is out because it's been storming. There has to be communication because one size does not fit all. Okay. And when I say one size does not fit all, again, this is based upon my life experiences, my job, my role. I do family law and what I have seen. I'm gonna give you. I'm gonna go into a Derrick Day segue, right? Y'all know he got a story for everything, right? Um, my segue is I had a client that was one of my absolute most favorite clients. Wonderful, wonderful person. God rest his soul. He passed away. I served as his personal attorney for many, many years, fought for him to get his children, met his wife, lovely person, knew who the ex-wife was that I was fighting against, and also knew that that individual um, did not lead a monogamous lifestyle. He lived a alternative lifestyle, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so, in saying that, if you are in a relationship and you are not a monogamous person, you need to say that. I do not believe that everybody is built for monogamy. I don't. I do not believe that it's always going to be one size fits all, because it's not. I bring up my favorite client because I fought for this individual for to get the children, and the court awarded my client the children, knowing my client lived an alternative lifestyle. And when I say alternative lifestyle, I mean that it
Swing.
was polymorous,
Yeah.
lifestyle.
Yeah.
And so if you are in that type of environment, I do not think you flirting with somebody else is going to be the explosion that would happen if you are with someone who is not um, in that type of lifestyle, in that type of environment. So it
But
comes down.
if the intent or if the expectation is monogamy,
Yes, if
then
the expectation, that's what I was saying. If the expectation is monogamy and that is occurring, that is a landmine and a bomb that
Mhm.
you are throwing into a relationship that you're trying to cultivate with somebody else.
Correct.
Right? But if you go in eyes wide open with someone and says, I'm not really a monogamous person. I love you. I will always place you first, but I have difficulties with monogamy.
Mhm.
Well, you have told another adult from the beginning
Right.
your position. And if the person chooses to engage in a relationship with you after knowing all of the facts, that's on them.
Right.
They're
So that
grown
goes back to
person.
communication
The
and
communication. Right. So you can't necessarily throw the bomb in a monogamous relationship of flirting with another woman, because for most people it probably would be a landmine.
yeah.
Most people. um I've lived a life, and when I say I lived a life, I am not the girl who has never had to deal with infidelity or flirting,
Yeah.
or that is a gut punch. Truthfully, it's a gut punch when you find out that the person that you poured into is attempting to pour into someone
But you
else.
don't have to anymore. Just throwing that out there.
Yeah, that was in the past, but our experiences shape us.
Yeah.
Again, this might be, I might be on the fringes because I'm not the shrinking violet, and honestly, I was just like, that's interesting. Okay,
Mhm.
great. Let me let me go ahead and get my Inspector Gadget on. You know what I'm saying? And find out what it is. It's Quincy just said sometimes that attention is missing and you get it somewhere else. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. It is not a requisition on you unless you are intentionally failing to
Mhm.
pour into your other person. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like I say that everybody has a scale, right?
Yep.
And so if your scales are perfectly balanced, then there should be no issues if your scales are perfectly balanced.
Right.
The hard thing is balancing those scales, right?
Yep.
And so if your scales are not balanced, then instead of seeking external validation, how about have a conversation with who you with?
Yeah.
Maybe
first.
I'm not getting enough attention.
Yep.
I don't feel pretty. So and so told me that I was fine. And when was the last time you gave me a compliment? When was the last time we went out? When was the last time that I felt that I'm not just somebody's wife or mother, but I
Right.
felt like a woman, like a beautiful woman? Even if I'm, got on a house coat and some slippers.
So, fellas,
you know?
fellas, let me give you the game for free, right? I don't care whether she's in her bonnet, she ain't made up, she just woke up in the morning. Let her know that she's the finest thing walking. Always, always, always emphasize that, right? Because here's the thing, right?
Ladies, you can call BS because I do all the time. I'm always like,
No, look here. You can call BS all you want, but you know how I am.
yes,
And my thing is, I don't ever want to let the sun rise or sunset without you knowing how pretty you are.
you're the
That's
man.
me. That's me. And
You're
I'm
the
just saying, fellas, this is the game for free. If you want to have, if you're in a monogamous situation, you want to have a happy situation, always remember, always remind your woman how precious, how beautiful she is. Now,
But likewise for women, like you if you are not pouring into your man, if you are not supportive of your man,
can I get hold on? Can I tell them what you said at lunch
what did I say at lunch? I
today?
don't, because we had lunch again today, y'all.
Yeah, we had
At
lunch.
Shawarma Bites, it was really good.
Yeah, and so I'm getting in the car, and she said, "Ooh, look at that fine ass yellow man." And I'm just I'm tickled by that, but I'm like I'm feeling I'm feeling myself. I'm feeling attractive because my PYT. She tells me, "Hey, you fine, dude." And that does it for me. So yeah, ladies, tell your man, remind him that he is, that king of swag to you. You
But
know,
here's also the thing. You have to be in a place personally to know who you are.
hmm
You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't be confused, wavering on who you are, because when you have cracks in your own esteem of self,
yep.
like Cat Williams said, it's the esteem of
Esteem
yourself.
yourself. Yep.
If you have cracks in your own self esteem, anything that somebody else does, whether it is, or even if it is nefarious, is going to turn that crack into a crater.
Yeah. Mm,
And so you
preach
have
that.
to get to a point where you're like, I am who I am. I love me.
I love who I am. I'm
I
happy
love
with
who
who I
I
am.
am.
Yeah.
I'm a beautiful person. And if the person that I'm with does not see that I am the
Yep.
SHIT, that's on them.
That's right.
That's not on me. Now, y'all know Derrick has different views. I have told people I am Kojic raised and born, and my sister is in the church, and my brother-in-law and my mom is a mother in the church, and I love the bishop. What God has for you, he has for you. And
Mhm.
even if you want to take it out of a religious standpoint,
The universe has for you what is for you.
it's for you. And so you can't try to make something fit, because that's what we do. We
Mhm.
try to make something fit because we think, okay, this has to be it, and or this person is slighting me. And if you have talked to this person in your relationship, if you are actively trying to work on the issues, if you brought the issues up to have them addressed, and that person is non-responsive, well, at that point, it's no longer on them, it's on you.
Yep.
If I tell you I don't like how you talk to that chick,
Yeah.
you need to shut that shit down
Yeah.
completely. And you're just like, whatever. And you continue going about your normal day and doing your normal things that you've been doing, and there is no change, then
Yep.
that's not on you.
No.
That's on me.
Right.
But first, I have to address it and give you the opportunity to explain or
Mhm.
determine if this can be fixed or rectified. And if it can't, we cut our losses, because guess what? You was born alone
You're
and you
gonna
gonna
die alone.
die alone.
Yep. Not me. I'm not gonna die alone. I'm gonna die holding your hand. I'm just saying. So let's go on to the next one. Number 5, spouse not initiating any affections. Now I'm gonna tell you something. Look here. I'm gonna say it to the world. That ain't my problem. That ain't my
See, I
problem.
thought you was gonna go the other way, because
No, because
y'all,
here's
Derrick
the
is
thing.
way more affectionate than I
I am
am.
a golden retriever, and
Yes,
my wife is a black cat.
very true.
So the thing is that she's affectionate
When I want to be.
when she wants to be, right? And here's the thing, to be honest, it's more often than not. But when she doesn't want to be affectionate, then that's when I have to learn to pump my brakes and kind of, you know, circle around, right? And I've learned that. But the thing is that in every relationship, there has to be some affection. Even if your wife is a black cat type, at some point she has to give some affection. At some
It's very true. And so it's very true. If y'all don't know what that means, like the black, they have done these
look it up
studies.
on TikTok.
Yes, they have done these, and it's not just on TikTok. They have done these studies that people's personalities and relationships correspond to like different animal breeds, right?
Mhm.
So golden retrievers are just very affectionate and just loving and just, hey, 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 hey,
Hey,
hey,
hey, I
right?
love you. I just
I
met you
love
and
you.
I love you.
Very optimistic, and we have determined that I am probably a black cat. That I'm just like, I'm gonna give you skibbity paps just because, unless I am in a zone where I am like, okay, you can have some affection.
Yeah. But
I
here's
will.
the thing.
I always love you,
I
but
don't
I just am not overly affectionate. I'm just
I don't
not.
want people to think that you're totally unaffectionate because
Yeah,
you're affectionate more often than you're not. But when you're not affectionate, that's just an off limit zone, right?
it
And
it potentially is an off limit zone. So depending on what is going on, if you are a black cat or a cat personality, think about how cats are.
mhm,
Cats are not pets. They're like roommates.
yeah,
Okay. Um, Truthfully, if you are dealing with someone who is, I am not a Pisces, I am an Aquarius, Quincy. Get it right. I am an Aquarian. Uh, if you are someone who is not as affectionate as your mate, at a certain point, what will happen is, and I hate to say this, to cultivate the relationship, you may take one for the team. You know, um, and this might
yeah,
be TMI, y'all. This might be TMI. Derrick is someone who likes to have contact, like if we're asleep. And I don't mean like sexual contact. I mean, he just likes, like, let me snuggle with you. Let me hold you. Let me wrap my arms around you. And I'm just like, okay, I mean, for a certain point, or I might scunch over and then, like, initially he took it.
but hold on. Let me say something because see, like last night you were like, baby, I want to cuddle.
I did.
You did
I did.
because sometimes a cat wants to cuddle.
Right.
So I'm just putting that out there.
Yeah. Yes. But by and large, he is, his love language is physical touch. By and large, not sexual touch, physical touch.
Yeah.
Let me hold your hand. Let me touch you. Let me be in your space. Let me physically touch you. That's not my love language. It's not. It just isn't. He knows this. It took him a while, y'all. And the first, in the beginning, it was almost like he took it as a slight. It's not a slight. It's just, one, you have to communicate and you have to realize what is someone's individual love language, because
Mhm.
their love language might not be your love language. That's
Right.
not my love language, right? But since I know that that is his love language, then I try to facilitate that to the best of my ability where I am not uncomfortable, right? Like I had this conversation with Derrick, and I told him, I said, as far because we're talking about intimacy, I said, I absolutely knew 100%, 100 and, you know, 1,000% that as a child I was loved by both my mother and my father. No
Mhm.
doubts about that. No doubts. But we were not and are not the type of family that's like, come here, let me hug you, let me just squish up on you. Like, I mean, now it's more so than I've got since I've gotten grown. Like, but that's just not how I was raised. I can remember going up to my dad saying, let me give you a kiss, daddy. And daddy was like, no, get out of my face. He would wave me off. I absolutely know that my father adored me and my mother absolutely loves me.
Mhm.
I want to be very clear with that. But we were not an affectionate family. We are not an overly affectionate family. So when you get with someone who is overly affectionate, because Derrick is overly affectionate, you have to take a step back and be like, okay, hold on, because everything in you is screaming like, I don't understand this. I don't get this. Like, so again, it goes back to introspection, um, and knowing who you are. And if your mate is not intimate with you or affectionate to you, because that's two different things, right?
Mhm.
And intimacy is not just sex. Can
Right.
I please let you know that intimacy is not just sex?
It's being in each other's space.
Correct. It is sharing moments that only you and that other person
Right.
are sharing. It could be that y'all are laying in the bed together watching TV or on TikTok together or just having a conversation or just
Mhm.
snuggled up and not saying anything, you know? Um, it could be that.
Yeah. It's like we didn't turn the TV on until last night.
Yeah, we went.
All week we've gone without the TV being on, which I thought was special.
Yeah,
But
because I have to have white noise, so I always sleep with the TV on,
so
you
I
know?
want to go on to the next thing, right? The power of saying I love you.
Hmm.
The power of saying I love you. And I'm gonna say this, right? That no matter what, right? This is something that I've learned is that any moment can be your last moment. Any moment can be your last moment.
Correct.
That I've seen this happen where, you know, I, and Maya knows this, that I was married before and I lost a spouse, right? That she died, and and one of the things that we were always really big on was saying I love you, saying I love you. Why? Because you never know when this is going to be the last time you say it, right? And I don't mean for anybody to live in a grim sort of, oh my God, this sword of Damocles hanging over my head, like, my spouse might die kind of, and that's not what I'm saying. Is that, you know, uh, Maya has to actually go into the office these days, rather than working from home. And so when she goes out the door, I always make sure I hug her, I kiss her, and I tell her, baby, I love you. I love you. Because if nothing else, if something happens along the way, something happens to her on the road, or I happen to be stricken down dead in the house, that she knows that I love her, because I've said, not, and y'all hear me. It's not just saying it. Saying it is great. It sounds good to say I love you, but it feels good to demonstrate that love.
Love is an action is an action word.
Yeah, I always say love is a verb, not a noun.
Don't tell me you love me just because you're trying to garner favor
No,
or you think that that's what I want to hear, like that song, tell them what they want to hear. Don't do that.
no.
If you say I love you, I am waiting you saying I love you against how you show me,
A manifestation of love.
right, that you love me.
Right.
Because I could say words alone are empty. Words alone are empty. Um, but words coupled with action is powerful, you know? So if I get the I love yous,
Hmm.
wonderful. I love you too. It's simple to say I love you too. We
Yeah.
say it to our family, we say it to our loved ones, we say it to our friends. Girl, I love you.
Children. Yeah.
Yeah,
Love you.
I love you. But weight that against my actions towards you. You know, if I'm telling you I love you, I love you, I love you, but I'm never there for you. Whenever you have something going on, I'm not accessible. I prioritize any and everything above you. You know, if I'm not showing you that I love you,
Right.
then my words are empty and hollow.
So let me share an example because we're sharing stuff here, baby. We're sharing stuff. Last night you weren't feeling good,
No, because I get these cluster headaches and they are freaking
and
horrible.
and the thing that I did is I made sure I ministered to your pain,
You did.
and so if I say I love you, but then I'm like, okay, hang in there, baby, it's gonna be okay, it's gonna be all right, and I don't do anything, then have I really shown you how much I love you? All I've done is I've given you some words. Now I might mean it, but I haven't actually demonstrated. I haven't manifested anything. But last night, and so again, I'm being being very transparent, being very open here because you know, um, baby had this headache. I gave her a warm compress, and I gave her a back rub. You know, so it's like, okay, I'm going to make sure that I'm taking care of you, that I'm making sure that you feel good. And so it's beyond just simply saying I love you. It's demonstrating it with some corresponding action. And I'm not saying that actions or things have to be the manifestation of love, but I'm saying that if you say that you love, there has to be some tangible, measurable aspect of it. Otherwise, it's just it's
It's
just
just words.
yeah, it's verbalization.
It's just words. And no, I'm sorry. It's just,
So anyway,
show me.
I
Prioritize me.
I took care of you and
Sec-
rubbed you until you fell asleep.
I Yeah, I don't remember the back rub. I don't. I'm I don't remember that. I do
It
remember the cold compress. But I do not
No, it
remember the
wasn't a
back rub.
cold compress; it was a warm compress.
I
And
mean the warm compress, yes. I
but the
remember
back
the
rub
warm
definitely
compress.
happened. The back rub happened until you fell asleep.
And that may be why I don't remember it. But I also was suffering a cluster migraine. So I was in a whole nother zone.
Yeah.
Um
But anyway,
that's
y'all, she got a really good back rub last night.
it had to be because I was out. Thank you. And go
Yep.
from there. So you have to pour into your significant other. You have got to cultivate moments with your significant other, and those moments have to be outside of the purview of anybody else.
Yes.
So, not with the children, not with the girls, not with the guys. You and that other person one on one.
Yep.
Even if it is just like I said, sitting in the bed nestled up together, listening to each other breathe,
Yep.
or your significant other fart on you. You
Yep.
know, you know,
So we do a little bit of farting.
you know. You have to cultivate that, and if you can't cultivate that, if the other person is unwilling to cultivate that, what are you doing?
Right.
Because I have said numerous times, if you want somebody to be a babysitter, you can hire a babysitter, a
Yep.
nanny.
Yep.
You need somebody to be a cook, you can hire a cook. right?
Cleaner.
If you need a housekeeper, drop the money and you can hire a housekeeper,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
But don't go into a relationship thinking that you're gonna get the cook, the nanny, the chauffeur, and the housekeeper just by telling somebody I love you, but not showing them that you love them and doing everything else. That's my love language too, Quincy. Quincy said my love language is cruising.
No,
That's my love
actually,
language too.
that's not your love language.
That's my love language
That's
too.
not your love language. You know what your love language is? You want me to tell you what your love language
Yes,
is?
please tell me what my love language is.
Bags.
That's one of them.
I think that's the primary
Don't put
one.
my business out into the street, sir. We ain't gonna do that. Okay?
But it's okay. Cruising is cool. We enjoy cruising.
We
And
do.
Quincy, we enjoy cruising with you. So let's go on to the next one. The refusal of conflict resolution. And I'm just going to let you run with that one. I'm not even going to introduce that. I'm just going to let you run with that.
Do you want Attorney Milton or do you want Mayor?
I want Maya.
Okay.
Attorney Milton can follow that, but I want Maya.
Every relationship is going to have conflict. If the other party is refusing to take accountability or deal with the issues at hand, you need to take a long, hard look at the relationship that you're in. Truthfully, there will be conflict. No relationship is without conflict.
Nope.
Period. Why? Because you are two separate individuals. Unless you're the same person, there's going to be some conflict. And there's also going to be some slighted feelings, and the other party might not even know that they're offending you or slighting you. We're going all the way back to point number one.
Mm-hmm.
There has to be communication.
Yeah.
There has to be communication. I'm about to tell a little bit of TMI.
Okay.
So please forgive me, babe.
You're good, babe.
Derrick and I got into a spat a few days ago, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Derrick literally pouted.
I did.
Wait a minute, let me tell my story.
All right.
He pouted, and I just knew, A, B, and C, and I just can't believe it. And I called it and blah, 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 blah. And what did I say? I said, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. When was it communicated to me about X, Y, and Z?
And I did not.
And he had not. Because why? Probably because I went into lawyer brain. But he had not communicated that to me. And so I was like, you cannot hold somebody accountable for what you have not communicated to them. If you communicate it to me and I do not follow through or address it, that's on me. But if you fail to communicate it to me, that's not on me. That's on you.
So let me give Maya a kudos, because she said, okay, you didn't communicate this to me before, but you've communicated this to me now. So I understand how you feel, and we are going to deal with we're going to address this. And we made a decision together how we go forward with this.
Right. But here's the thing. People think that, well, I told him. Did you tell him verbally?
No.
Did you tell him or her verbally? Did y'all sit down and have a powwow and say, listen, babe, what we need to do, we gonna go to this restaurant, to the Starbucks, to wherever. Because if it's a highly contentious
place, you can't climb.
Correct. If it's a highly contentious situation.
Your phone just died. Your phone died. Come on in here with me. Come on in here and sit with me. So so now you can actually.
So, we're in the same space, y'all. See, my phone died. I was on my phone. But if it's a highly contentious situation or a highly sensitive topic, right? One, you need to remove yourself from your home court, your house.
Yep.
right?
You need to go to neutral territory.
You have to go to neutral ground. If you go to neutral ground, one, nobody has an advantage. Whether you moved in with him, she moved in with you, whatever, it's not the house. Mm-hmm. Don't complicate your house with issues that need to be addressed. Go someplace public. I say this to everybody: go someplace public. Mm-hmm. Why? Because you ain't gonna act a fool. Most people ain't gonna act a fool.
You ain't gonna lose your mind up in there. Most people
ain't gonna act a fool in public, right?
You ain't gonna act a fool up in there.
So you literally can have a conversation that is civil, maintains decorum. Because is you really gonna go into these people's spaces and start raising your voice and acting a nut? If you sitting at a dinner table, whether it's Applebee's or Ruth's Chris, you're just not gonna do it.
Ruth's Chris.
I know Ruth's, So we're
gonna get steak tonight, though.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So dealing with conflict, my response and recommendation to others, clients, friends, get out of the house.
Yeah.
Don't have that conversation in your
neutral
house.
Neutral territory.
Go exactly, neutral ground. Get out of the house. So at least then you don't have those negative feelings permeating your house. And I am very keen on spirits and auras and juju. You don't want to cloud your sacred spaces with negativity.
Preach, priestess.
That's
all right. That's not it. So I'm gonna roll 8 and 9 into the same thing, right?
Uh-huh.
Bringing past hurts into relationships, and ex-spouses being
girlfriends
or
boyfriends
or paramours or significant others, whatever you insert your relationship here as part of a current marriage or relationship.
Okay, so let's deal with the easy one first, which is an ex as part of the current relationship. You can't. You can't.
No, you can't.
You can't.
You can't.
You can't. Now, wait a minute. We are all an amalgamation of the experiences that we have went through. Mm-hmm. Do I know about Derrick's past relationships? I absolutely do. Does he know about my past relationships? He does. Have we had many conversations? We have.
Yeah.
We absolutely have. Would I ever say so-and-so did A, B, and C, and you not doing A, B, and C? Absolutely not. I don't think I have ever done that.
No.
I have a whole ex.
Have I ever done that?
No, you have not.
Okay, just checking.
We have had conversations about how our past relationships have went, but to actively involve an ex in your current relationship, why is you in a relationship? Why? Because if the way that you expect it to go, it was based upon how their past relationship was, why are you with me and not with that person?
Right.
Go be with that person.
No, I mean, here's the thing. What is past? What is past is past. What is in my rearview mirror is in my rearview mirror.
But also, this is me.
But
this is me. Now let me tell you.
Hold on. You are what's in my windshield.
Correct.
The difference.
Let me tell y'all.
Okay, go ahead.
And Derrick is going to say something about this because he feels some type of way about this. I firmly believe sometimes relationships didn't work out because they were not meant to work out. And you can be friends if you were friends before with someone that you were in a relationship with, but you both recognize that it did not work out romantically, right?
Yeah, I call that.
I don't believe you have to cut people out of your life.
I call that a dick in a glass case.
I don't think you have to cut people out of your life simply because y'all didn't work out romantically. This didn't work out for us romantically, but we cool.
Nah, dog.
I'm wishing you the best.
Nah, wishing you the best is one thing, but continuing to communicate and all of that. Nah.
Well, I'm not talking about communicate every day with the person.
I'm saying communicate at all. I'm like,
so this is where Derrick
on.
and I differ.
Move
this
on.
Is truthfully where we have had. Listen, this is truthfully where we differ at, because I believe that just because you didn't work out romantically, don't mean that y'all can't be friends.
Oh, no, it's like, hey, if I see you, hey, we're nice, we cool. It ain't ugly. But as far as like, we hey, I'm gonna text you sometime. Hey, I was just checking to see how you doing. Nah, nigga, no.
And now I get that, I understand that, but some people, again, communication, and you might be at an impasse. We have actually had a what can I say? We mitigated this issue early on.
Yeah, we did.
And when I say we mitigated it, it was not everything that he wanted or everything that I wanted. We came to a compromise, a feasible compromise. Now, understand, he says that I'm BSC. BSC is batshit crazy.
Yeah.
He BSC too.
I am.
He is BSC too. So.
I'll kill a motherfucker over her. But just so y'all know.
So, exes, in the context of, if it was a long-term relationship, that would be like me calling up my ex-husband and telling him what was going on in my current relationship. That will never occur.
Yeah, because if it did, I would go and
that will never occur. Let me tell you that that will never occur. Or him having a conversation to his ex-wife
about you,
about me,
and that'll never happen.
Because why? Because I am my own person, and I'm not her,
Nope.
and he's not him. So if I need a sounding board or an outlet, my sounding board or my outlet, I'm gonna go to old school Tommy Mullen. Take it to Jesus first. I know, but
I roll.
But if you don't take it to Jesus, you should have a network of people in your dot, not your inner circle, in your dot. Your dot is closer than your inner circle, that you can vent to, that you can get sound advice from, that you can have counsel from, right? I'm not saying put all your business out in the street to somebody.
No,
you don't have to.
So let me say something about that, right? Because like your dot, I have a dot, and you know my dot, right? But my dot is not the place where I vent my okay, so I have my circle, I have my inner circle, and I have my dot, right? Now, when I talk about my dot, even my dot is not exposed to what you and I talk about. Let me say this: that you are my dot within my dot,
and I get that, and I understand that.
I don't go anyway,
no. But all of us is not that disciplined.
I am.
I just said all of us are not that. No, we're not that disciplined. If you need just the ear of someone, this is why I advocate therapy. And if you can't afford therapy, you need to have one good girlfriend or one good guy friend that you can say, listen, this is what I'm going through. Because I don't believe anybody should suffer in silence or go through things.
You shouldn't. You should go through. But here's the challenge, right? Is that when you have like a good girlfriend or good guy friend, right? Your bestie or whatever. If they're not going, if they don't understand the kind of dynamic that you're going through, they may give you bad advice.
They might, but ain't nobody telling you to take it. A good friend, more than a good friend, will listen to you and empathize with what you're going through and not have to give you any advice. Because why? Because you need to vent what's going on. Now, the ones that are really close to you might say, okay, sir, you need to do A, B, and C. Or if it were me, I would probably do, X, Y, and Z. take other people's opinions with a grain of salt, because other people are giving you advice and opinions based upon what they would do.
What they would do, right?
And that might not necessarily be what you would do.
Preach.
So it allows you a mechanism to get out your emotions and
what's
feelings.
What's your Cash App? What? So they can put something in your offering basket.
You know,
she preaching. She preaching.
It allows you to get out your feelings and your emotions. It allows you to get another perspective, but don't think that you are beholden to take somebody's advice.
No,
because you're not. Okay. The other one was because we combined all of this stuff from the internet.
Yeah.
And so the last one was bringing past hurts into relationships.
Always, yeah.
You got to heal you. That's the only way I'm gonna say you got to heal you. We all have had past experiences. Mm-hmm. And our past shapes our perceptions of future interactions. I'm going to say that again. Our past will shape,
for the people in the back,
our perceptions of future interactions, right? So if you are in a relationship that was really jacked up, abusive, narcissistic, gaslighting, did not listen to you, your go-to is to believe that your new relationship is going to be more of the same. And your go-to, because that's what you've known. Mm-hmm. Your normal was abnormal. But you have internalized that this is how relationships go. It is unlearning the effed upness of the past. Therapy is a beautiful thing. And I'm going to say this for my melanated friends, because in the melanated community, it's almost a bad thing to go and get therapy or talk to somebody.
Get yourself some prayer, child.
He's such a heathen. But you have to unlearn the toxicity that you put up with before. Now, that don't mean accept bullshit. That don't mean that. It means that don't anticipate and look for.
Did you see my yin yang?
What? Yeah.
Do no harm.
Take no shit. Right. Don't anticipate and look for the harm in your new relationship. It might not be there. Mm-mm. That person is that person. You have to give that person a clean slate.
Yep.
If you can't give that person a clean slate, if you haven't done the work on yourself, you maybe shouldn't be in a relationship.
You know what? And let me say this. Can I say this about us? Is that we both experience some very negative shit.
Very, very negative.
Very negative. What we've done is we've learned to look past that.
You aren't my ex and I'm not yours.
Exactly. Or to use a Mayaism, this is not that.
Right. This is not that.
This is not that.
And sometimes you have to remind yourself, this is not that. Like, I'm in this relationship and it's triggering me because all of my sirens are going off.
Exactly.
And I'm not telling you to not listen to the warning flags.
Danger, Will Robinson.
Right. But don't automatically assume that what you're currently in is what you were in before. Is a repeat
of what you were in before.
Right. Exactly. Because it might not be to that level. But again, you have to communicate with that person. And if you determine that it is, and you're repeating something, then you need to look inside to see, what am I supposed to learn? Why do I keep attracting this? What is it about me that keeps attracting and pulling this dynamic, this person, this individual? Because I fully believe what you get is what you have manifested, whether it is subconsciously or consciously.
Can I put that another way?
Go ahead.
That you can expect whatever you project.
Correct. Okay. So
that's
don't self-sabotage. Correct.
That's a good place to land the plane. Cedric says, "Don't self-sabotage." Quincy says, "Glad I'm sweet and innocent." No, you're not, Quincy. You're a lying motherfucker. I love you, but you're lying. Quincy is my dude. I love Quincy.
I know.
You know, Quincy
was the drink dude at our wedding.
But I'll say this, that Quincy is someone that I've known about a year, but I consider him one of my best friends. That's rare.
Quincy be on point.
I have a high
Q be on point.
regard.
We love you, Q.
Quincy.
We love Cedric.
Quincy says they're an X for a reason. You know what? I always say X is an unknown quantity in algebra.
He got this old iMac computer.
No, my Mac is the shit.
Nope.
It is.
I'm like, we're just cruising. Show me anything that we have not hit on. Y'all are watching us. Anything that we ain't hit on, y'all family?
Yeah, just put it in the comments and
let us know.
Yeah, let us know and we'll get back to it. But you know something, we're gonna leave right now because there is a steak dinner awaiting us because we're celebrating.
Wait a minute, and y'all see what time it is? Y'all know I eat early.
I know you eat early, but you know what? Oh, I'm gonna feed you. I'm gonna take care of you.
Anywho, thank y'all for letting me share space with y'all today and fill in for Aaron. Aaron is on vacation, trying to find Bigfoot or the Yetis or whatever in the wilderness with his family and kids. So hopefully he's having a wonderful time. And Derrick asked me, he was like, "Oh, you want to do the show with me tonight?" And I'm like, "Sure, no problem." So, hopefully it has been enlightening. We gave you something to think about.
Yeah.
We are not relationship gurus.
We're not.
I'm not a relationship guru. I am a family law attorney, and I am a divorcee and a newly married person, and I have lived a life. We are not gurus, but beloved.
Hey, Patrice just joined in.
Do the work. You got to do the work.
She said, "Awesome."
Hey, Patrice.
Quincy said, "I love you, Derrick." I love you too, Quincy.
So do the work. And hopefully we gave you some nuggets.
Yep.
Hopefully we gave y'all some nuggets to think on. If your relationship is not what you want it to be, do the work to make it be what you want it to be, or get the hell out.
Get your ship together. That's it.
Get the hell out.
Get it together or get the fuck out.
That's it.
That's it.
Because guess what? You only get one life. Why would you want to be miserable?
And I'm going to tell you something. I'm happy.
Are you happy?
I'm happy. Let me kiss.
You see, I told y'all. That's that sappy, sweet.
I'm that nigga.
And I'm just...
But do y'all see she gave me sugar? Right?
LSNE.
She gave me that sugar. Though.
LSNE. Do y'all know what LSNE is?
Oh God, don't go there.
Light skin, energy.
Energy.
That's that. Because anyway, y'all, thank y'all for sharing time with us, and hopefully we gave you a nugget to think about. And again, listen. If you want a family law attorney, if you didn't did the work, and you say you still need I'm done. Get at your girl.
Or if you need a coach that'll help you coach, work you through some shit like that, holla at your boy.
Nothing is as bad as you think it is. If it's not, don't be degraded. Don't have the esteem of self tore down. Mm-hmm. Don't accept violence.
Ooh, that part.
Don't accept violence. Be it physical, verbal, financial. Don't accept it.
Emotional.
Correct. But
don't accept it.
If it's workable, work it. Do the work. Y'all have a good day.
I love you,
good night.
Baby.
I love you too, babe.
All right. See ya.
Bye, y'all.